conversations were still going on with our women of color, and then the need to kind of have a space to bring women together across race and ethnicity and kind of have those type of dialogues. So I was having those type of conversations with students who were in my peer mentoring programs, also in housing and residence life, 2 community directors who are no longer with us, Angelica Matos and Arian Mickles, were having similar conversations with their RAs. So we kind of came together. This was the spring of 2016, 2015, 2016, I can't remember now. And just kind of thought, like, what can we do with, just the ideas that we have to kind of start something, because if we wait for the university to kind of make it a priority, we could be waiting forever.
Be more reactive to what's going on in our realities and around us, and the simple fact of not being gender exclusive and not making people feel like they can't come in because they may not identify as women with the E, but the women with the X. It's it allows everyone to come in and find yourself and reflect yourself in the organization.
Really want Women of Worth to be a space for any student who identifies as a woman. So that doesn't mean necessarily women at birth. So as far as gender identity, if you identify as a woman, and also from particularly an underrepresented racial and ethnic background, Women of Worth is literally open to any student who wants to participate and learn more, but the content is absolutely centered around women-identified persons who identify from racial and ethnic backgrounds, underrepresented racial and ethnic backgrounds.
Women of Worth is geared towards just self-identified women of color, so anyone who identifies themselves as a woman of color, and we do spell women with an X instead of an E in order to include people who might not be women who were necessarily at birth but do identify as women now.
Women of Worth provides a space that reflects me, so I think that's what I really needed to understand my cultural identity. Women of Worth was kind of birthed out of the fact that a lot of women of color struggled to find a space for themselves and that reflected their identity on campus, because, like I said earlier, a lot of spaces tend to be male dominated, and we are either white female dominated, and we had nowhere to go, and the university wasn't doing a good job in addressing that gap, because I think a lot of times with women of color, on paper, we may look good, we're making good grades, we're going to college, we're succeeding, but there are so many underlying issues that we're dealing with that is not being addressed, that may be harder to see. So that's kind of what Women of Worth does, is that we deal with these issues to help just promote a holistic student and the student success that we, before Women of Worth existed, women of color weren't really getting on this campus. I think the biggest thing, especially what we've been talking about a lot in our meetings, is that a lot of the monthly meetings tend to be African American women dominated, and I think that comes out of the fact that a lot of the administration and staff that works with Women of Worth are African American women, and so sometimes we kind of have an issue bridging and getting Latinx women in, or Asian American women, or any women in, these different ethnicities within people of color. We sometimes struggle getting that in. So if you was to look at our events, you would think it's a black space, but it's not meant to just be a black space. That's just that tends to be who shows up. So I think that would be if I was to think of a misconception, that would be like a main misconception that people may have.
And what we try to do at our first meeting each year is really dig into the origins of women of color. And it's really has nothing to do with, the race that you were born with. Is more of a political identity, about solidarity with other women of underrepresented racial and ethnic backgrounds. So I think what we really want to do is kind of expand that definition to, just make sure that our Latino women, our Asian women, our Pacific Islander women, our Native women also feel included in that space. And it's been a challenge, but that's definitely a goal that we continue to push for.
Flowing, and everyone is like just wonderful to work with, and just being introduced to people that I may have never met otherwise. So that's been really rewarding as well, just building a network. It's just encouraged me to want to do more and see more and experience more and understand more. Yeah, I think just overall a very good experience.
Yeah, I would love to see Women of Worth have an official kind of home on campus. Right now, kind of our strategy, we've pulled so many different partners from across campus, which is amazing. So it's literally not a one-person job. We have so many different partners across campus, from staff members to graduate students to undergraduate. It takes a village to make this work. But that definitely comes with challenges in terms of sustainability and funding. So I would really love for Women of Worth to have an institutional home, for it to be able to be sustained for years to come. So that's kind of really a priority that we're working on.
I think like more expansion into the community. So like going to schools and engaging women of color in middle schools, our local high schools, because there's so many schools that's right around Chapel Hill, like elementary, middle school, high schools that's right around Chapel Hill. So maybe trying to engage the community more in like what Women of Worth is and like what we're doing. The like mentorship, I think mentorship would be a great thing to do in those schools, and like allow those young girls to visualize themselves coming to college and let like visualize themselves in STEM fields or visual, because like I mentored in middle school with another organization, and a lot of times those girls, like the only career fields that exist to them is like a doctor, lawyer, and a teacher. And it's like they don't understand that there's so many like other things you can be, and that college is a real thing that you can succeed to. And like you can go somewhere like Chapel Hill, you can go to Duke, you can go to like these different places that you may not see because of your income or because no one else in your family has went. So it may be hard for you to visualize yourself. So having someone come in that's already in that position and showing you like you can do it, and this is how you make your own space on campus and like create your own path to get there, and just like building that self-confidence early on so that they don't struggle when they get to high school and they don't struggle when they get to college, and it's easier on them.